Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back into another video. It's your favorite cat in the realm, and today I'm here to talk about the updates of Season 6 Emergence update that it's coming over on the 23rd of February. Now, you're probably thinking, but Kreepers, those patch notes are 15 days old. What are you talking about? Well, Cryptic, our newest community manager, which they're doing an amazing job, by the way, like, fantastic. They updated the patch notes just recently, and there's more information here that we did not catch on the PDS. So now I'm going to go through them. In fact, I have information about bounty stores and etc. that I want to talk about here in a second, and possibly even give you some feedback, some suggestions. So let's just get through it. And do not skip the video, you're gonna need these informations. So for the newest champion Nyx, I am definitely not gonna break this down because all of that has already been broken down on multiple different videos, including lore, etc. So if you haven't seen those, they're all on my YouTube channel. Just go back. You're probably watching this either on Twitter or maybe on Discord. Just check it out on YouTube. Go back into the previous videos. And you'll be able to see everything. And as soon as they have everything set up, like a final Nyx loadout, I will be testing it out on live servers and actually get a proper gameplay. So I'm not really gonna go through cards or anything of the sort. I'm instead gonna go straight down into balancing, because cosmetics, we've already seen all of this. Obviously, we've seen the skins. I've already placed gameplays for all the skins and everything. And there's now more information here, more sprays and death stamps, like visuals. We can now see some of these things that we couldn't see before on the patch notes. There's the frame, so that's fantastic. Now let's talk about this first thing here that scared a lot of people. Trials of the Realm. We are re-evaluating the trial system, so we will not be releasing trials for 23.1. But stay tuned for the future announcements. So, I know that a lot of people are scared. They're thinking, wow, they're removing the trials as well. No, they're not removing the trials. And in fact, they specifically say we are re-evaluating this trial system. Now, I might be partially responsible for this, but not in a bad way. I asked for a bunch of different changes to the trials because I specifically told them the trials are one of the best things that you guys have in the game, right? And it just feels like you're not using it to the fullest, right? There's way more that you can do with the trials. And I feel like, for example, we need a final reward when we complete everything on the trials. We need tickets to be gone. I mean, there's even a bug currently that allows you to just ignore tickets in the first place. And what happened was that they didn't have enough time to actually do the new system or rework it, technically speaking. And unfortunately, because it's not completed, it's not going into this patch. However, it will return unless they change their minds until then, which hopefully they won't. In fact, I'm 100% sure of this because when the PDS opened in the first version of PDS, the trials were still there, and the trials were different because right now, I can even show you a little bit. If you go into my video of like all the cosmetics and things that happened there that I go through the event pass and etc., when you went to the trials, it wouldn't look like this. Instead, it would only be 2 sets of trials, and then I could scroll over to the third one. So I'm guessing they're making it a bit easier to see. This might be also related to the UI rework. I don't know exactly what they're planning on doing. I don't know if they are adding a reward for the completion, 100% completion of this entire thing. I hope so. But yeah, essentially, there was definitely changes there. The trials are there, so yeah. There's no need to worry. They're not going away just yet, at least that I know of, okay? Let's go down here. Payload. There's something that wasn't mentioned here that I will mention it to you. Remounts. You guys remember remounts, right? A lot of people were a bit upset about it. Well, remounts are not actually going completely away. Remounts are going to be available in the payload mode. Payload is going to be there, like I told you already, from Monday to Friday. And obviously, it is the best. The best decision is for all of you to play it as much as possible, because if they end up seeing good numbers, they might keep the mode, and you guys have been asking for the mode for years, so I mean, why not work a little bit extra hard to keep it forever, right? As for this, I did give some feedback about this chest. This chest is going to have all the different stellar skins, and if you already have the default ones, right, which, you know, you might have already acquired from other chests, now what's going to happen is you're going to be able to get the recolors. This chest has all the 4 different default ones and also their recolors. I did state, however, that I don't think this is a good idea. I don't like this idea even. My idea would be for each individual color, after you unlock the default ones, each individual color could cost like 175, 200 crystals, whatever. And you could select it specifically, like let me give you an example here. You could go, for example, here to Inara. She has this. And you could go and click one specific color, and it would be like something show up. Would you want to purchase this color palette? And there you go. Because the chest is going to be super expensive. We're talking about how many recolors of this? We're talking about 7 different recolors without even counting the base. It's like 8 skins versus 4 champions. And I don't even know. Yeah, this doesn't seem they added the Vora skin, the Stellar Vora skin, which is great because you can do the math yourself. By 200 crystals per roll with 8 different skins per character, and there's 4 different characters. There's a little bit of homework for you. All right, now let's continue. UI changes, you guys have already seen some of that. I might have a video coming up to give some feedback about the UI and how I feel about it and what I would change. But for now, obviously, I'm not going to talk about it. Bounty Store. Bounty Store is being removed, indeed. I'm going to be straight up honest. If anybody was expecting this, it was definitely not the AOC. We did not knew about this. We did not even knew about payload. All right, I'm sorry. Okay, if you're thinking, oh, why didn't you try to keep it? There's no way I can fight for something that I don't even know that it's going to go away. To be perfectly fair, the Bounty Store was not at its best. And mainly there was just basically channels just doing 24/7 streams to abuse it. So if anything, if they bring up a better system in the future, I'm way more happy about it. However, they do state here that they will be compensating somehow bounty coins and duplicate skins. As for the normal skins, you will keep them. Don't worry about it. The bounty skins you own will be kept. And any leftover bounties and duplicate skins will be rewarded as we transition. So there's going to be a compensation. We just don't know what it is yet. And the best way to go about this is to wait a little bit until they actually come up with the more specifics, which I believe Cryptic might do a post soon enough before the 23rd. And then you can decide whether you want to go by just like Champion XP boosters, because we don't even know if these are going away completely or they will remain in the game and maybe come back in battle passes or something. Or if you just want the so-called compensation that they're going to give us. I mean, I doubt that they're going to give us crystals for it, but, you know, if they decide to give you gold and you don't have a lot of champions, maybe you're new to the game and you think, it's actually a good idea. You know, I can get all the champions for free. Boom, then there you go. Or maybe you're like, no, but I already have all the champions. Maybe I have the Founders Pack. Maybe I got a ton of gold. I don't want that. Then you go and purchase skins. There's a bounty market, by the way, in case you don't know. So go on Google and search for Paladins Bounty Market, and there's the website. You can actually log in with your Hyris account and buy skins, because currently the in-store game, the in-game store is not actually working. However, at least the boosters can be purchased. If you prefer to buy skin boosters instead of buying the skins, and you can use the skin boosters whenever you want, then sure, why not? If you want to buy the Champion XP boosters, which for me are way more valuable, in fact, they're probably the most valuable thing right now, like screw skins, screw the skin boosters, screw the Battle Pass boosters, especially because you can use gold to level up. The XP boosters are probably the best. You don't have any other way to amp up the XP for your champions, unless it's a double Champion XP, and if you have 100% sure every single time the Battle Pass, if you purchased it, right? So this even amps it up past that limit. So this is very much likely the best choice for you. The best choice for you. There you go. Sorry about my English. I'm not really English. I'm actually Portuguese, for those who didn't know. So hola to all Portuguese people. And now let's continue. Balance changes. Air strafing. They didn't really explain this. This has already been mentioned before, but I'm just going to do a little comment about this. Apparently console does have air strafing properly working, but PC didn't. So what they did is they brought it back up to make it proper on both sides. Air strafing, in case you don't know, is allowing you to move a little bit more on the air. Like you go near a wall, you jump, and you can, you know, go a little bit to the left and then right to the right side. That's what it does. Mid-air inaccuracy, fully removed. I think this is a bit... They need to be careful about this because characters like 7 are going to be insanely strong. But let's see how it works. Usually people don't play PDS enough to have full feedback on this. You know, they can't just take feedback from like 10 people, right? In fact, the AOC, part of the reason why the AOC was removed was because even though we do collect feedback from the community, they want something that can be a bit more inclusive and they can get even more feedback. And they're working on that future replacement for the AOC, instead of just having 8 people who might be giving biased ideas or something like that, right? Like, it's always complicated. And it's not the first time as well that, like, because one person says, hey, let's buff Andrew, and then the entire community goes like, what are you talking about? That's stupid. This person's stupid. You know, so we can avoid that entire thing. They can have a lot more people giving feedback. They can weigh the pros and the cons, see how many people are on one side and how many people are on the other, and then they can make the proper decision based on that. So, yeah. All right, mid-air inaccuracy, this needs to be fully scanned in the future. They need to be careful about this. Items. Guardian has been buffed. Pretty straightforward. I don't really think this is going to make too much of a difference. Kill to heal has been nerfed. The percentage of heals that you get is a lot smaller, which I believe it's fine since it does ignore cauterize. As for the changes, this is the changes that I mentioned on my video of healing, of the healer changes, where they have created 3 different passives that are added into talents. One of them heals more, one of them heals more in a little bit of damage, not as much as, doesn't heal as much as the first one, and the third one does more damage. So one's for damage, one's for hybrid, and one's for healer. The current champions being affected by this is Pip, Furia, Grok, Grover. Right, and I believe I saw something about Ying, but I wasn't 100% sure. I think they did remove it. This is similar to what Lilith does, right? Lilith by default already has this. The first talent, you deal less damage, but you heal more. The second talent, you don't do more damage or more heals, but you do have a little bit of compensation, so you can use your circle, so you can use it both as a healing and a damage mechanism. And the third one is literally just more damage, and you don't have any extra healing whatsoever. So that's pretty much what they're going for. Androxus, they removed the Cursed Revolver, and the mistake they did by putting the previous Darkstalker, not the old Darkstalker, has now been fixed. So we will have the 3 separate dashes talent, which is a lot more mobility for Andrew, but no damage amplifier, which is fantastic. Personally, I love this. This is the thing that we've been asking so much for, and it did happen, which is fantastic. Atlas, they buffed Atlas. That is actually scary. I didn't even know about that. I've been playing Atlas in these last few days, and especially in competitive, and I can tell you that I don't think that's a good idea. But hey, we'll see in the future. Azan. Azan has the talent Tempering, which nobody's playing. A little bit of a buff, right? Instead of increasing all the cooldowns by 50%, it only increases 25%, so that it's like not as penalizing for you. And that's okay, but I still don't think anybody wants to play that talent either way. Barrack, Tinkering, they buffed the damage by a lot, actually. That is some pretty nice damage buff right there. I didn't know this one. This is pretty good. All right, Dredge, we already knew about this. So basically what they did, the card at default is gonna have a 2.5 seconds period of time now. Once you leave the shortcut, that then you can jump and do that high jump that Dredge does. So instead of just being 1 second, you gotta jump immediately. Now you have a little bit of time extra there, and every point you put in there, it will just add 1 second to it. Okay, so you can go like the 6.5 seconds, which literally nobody uses because everybody uses this card at 1 point. Crow's Nest, they buffed it. Every point you put into the card, it increases 150 knockback with the broadside, which means that, you know, all those people that can jump across the map with Dredge, yeah, they're gonna be doing it even more now. Fernando, Aegis, they nerfed the shield. Fantastic. I mean, everybody literally just playing this crap and nothing else. Furia, they nerfed her, but they nerfed her in a bunch of different ways because of the the 3 different passives to the talents, which is what I was mentioning before. They nerfed a little bit on the damage of her main fire. The Pyre Strike now does additional 20 damage every... Okay, so they nerfed a little bit of the damage sequentially that it continues to do over time on the Pyre, on the little beam strike, and then you got less healing a little bit, apparently. It now heals only for... Wow, that's a huge damage nerf. Not damage, healing nerf. Yeah, that hurts. Oh boy. Well, either way, with Solar Blessing, you're going to be able to heal more. Currently, I think that with this change, Solar Blessing might be better than Cherish. Because you can then stop the Pyre Strike wherever you want. You can use it as a damage. If anything, I think that Cherish should have been the healing one, and Solar Blessing should have been the hybrid one. They could have nerfed the healing that the Solar Strike does, and just make it a hybrid. Because I don't know, like currently, like the only thing that Cherish has better than Solar Blessing is literally the range and nothing else. The healing numbers, I tested them, it's almost the same thing on the right click. It's insane. Like it's almost not even worth it anymore. Inflame, that is the ultimate duration, has less 1 second now, because you know her ultimate has always been pretty much the strongest thing about her kit, together with the Wrath and her main damage. So yeah. All right, Grok is now dealing less damage at base and also healing less with his totems. I don't like this change. I don't like it at all. I would prefer actually just leave the totems and just nerf his damage. Whatever. Grover, Throwing Axe, they nerfed it as well by 100. Jeez. Okay, but this is the damage increase over to the max distance. You know how like the longest you throw the axe, the more damage you do. So now you do less, and with ferocity means that you're going to be doing less as well. The Blossom is also going to be healing for less. It's not a huge damage nerf. It's like 50 on the large burst, and the passive is like less 5 per tick every 1 second. Okay, it's not that crazy. I think Grover healing might still be a fantastic thing. Actually, just speaking of which, I have a video coming up with the Grover healing with the vines kind of thing, with a loadout that I managed to come up with. That it's actually very fantastic, and I'm going to show it to you how you can play it. I know that a lot of people prefer to play like Ferocity Grover or just the other one, the new Roots Grover, but still, I don't know. Like, if you really want to amp up those healing numbers, I prefer the other talent, but I'll explain it to you, to anybody who's interested in that video. So make sure you follow so you don't miss that upload. Inara. Now, this is what I'm excited for. It doesn't seem like a lot, but they removed the self-slow. She already doesn't have mid-air inaccuracy. So right now, she's becoming more aggressive. Like, people are already not playing Mother's Grace because obviously it got nerfed. And now you got a lot of people just playing the cripples. And imagine with no slow plus no missing in the air. If you get knocked back, if you're jumping, if you're falling from a platform, you're going to be pretty aggressive with Inara from now on, which is fantastic. There's a damage reduction buff to Earthen Guard, now going to 35% instead of 30%. And the damage reduction from Mother's Grace has also been increased. So these two, I didn't even see these two. This is fantastic. Yeah, no, she's having more damage reduction as well. Nara might jump in back into the meta. You know what I'm saying? Kasumi. So this, to me, I already did a video about this, but apparently people on console are stating that it doesn't do anything at all. It still works exactly as before. I didn't test it with a controller, so I wouldn't know. There was definitely times where she was still doing everything normally, but then there was times where I was literally having a 1v1 while aiming down to them, and it would just stop attacking, which is very annoying. Overall, I think the best chance possible in the future will be to make Kasumi just a projectile champion, where she throws like needles, the nails, whatever, and just get it over with. Because this is always going to be like the thing. We're going to be going back and forth, and people will never be happy. At this point, might as well just waste a little bit more resources and time and just change it entirely to people to stop complaining about it and just possibly get the best for the players, for them to be happy, and then the devs can also be happy. All right. Pip, they nerfed his damage. Okay, but here's the thing. Like, people saw this nerf to damage, and the talent that does 20% more damage actually gives him more damage in the end than what we do with the 600. So it actually, I've been talking to some Pip mains, and they love the changes. I mean, they don't like that now your base kit damage is nerfed, but the extra damage from that talent actually makes it a bit better, and that's actually fantastic. So why not? The explosive flask has been nerfed, however, and I'm pretty sure that the extra damage also applies here, but I would have to test it. I didn't test that one out, sorry. Rom has been nerfed finally, because Subservience has been absolutely ridiculous. Everybody's been playing this. Literally, like, Rom is a complete different champion now. Before, Rom was like this running guy, like he's just running around, and any sort of CC stops him, and it's fun to play with or against it. And now, well, you just see Roms standing still and shooting and healing everybody. That's it. So, yeah. Skye, her hidden cooldown has been buffed by taking it 1 second away, which is rather okay. Torv has had here a very interesting change, and I think that this is partially because of the bug that we reported. There was actually a person who sent over information to me and a bunch of other AOCs, and so the recharge is meant to recharge for 2,200, but it's actually recharging for more, which it was pretty inconsistent with its abilities descriptions. So to buff the guy, to make it a bit more point tanky, if you would like to call it that way, they now gave him a shield of 3,000 instead of 2,000. Plus they buffed Guardian, and Guardian now also affects his tiny little shields that he puts into people. So Torvald might actually be very picked in this next patch. You can recharge shield up to 3,000, which I don't understand why isn't it 3,300 or something, because I mean, they did it before. If you have a 2,000 shield, the recharge should feel a little bit more, because people sometimes are shooting at you while you're recharging, right? And for some reason, that's not what they went for. They should have went at least like for the 2,700 shield, and then you recharge 3,000, or now you have 3,300 as a recharge. I don't understand. I don't get the consistency here. But that they would probably know better than me, I guess. 7 did get nerfed, however, onto his burst mode, because a lot of people were still complaining about it, and especially on console. I've been playing competitive console in the last few days, and I can guarantee you people are still trying to abuse 7 as much as possible with the damage that it does on burst. And having this little bit of a damage nerf, this also nerfs the headshot damage a little bit. Nothing crazy, but we'll see. Maybe they needs a little bit more nerfs once this next patch is almost over, because obviously there's going to be people who are going to be abusing the midair inaccuracy being gone with him, right? And Yang had a buff to her clones from 400 to 420. Now there's here a bit of an issue, which I don't understand, because if they are doing the passives for the talents, this means that Yang is also going to have this. And if that is true, this means they're going to be nerfing the heals that the clones do again. So unless they're doing that thing that the Black Friday does on all the shops, where they increase the prices before the Black Friday, so that on the Black Friday, then they turn down the price, but it's almost the same thing as the previous price. I don't really know what the logic is behind this buff. I just don't. Because they're gonna nerf it either way. They're gonna put the passives and they're gonna nerf it. It's gonna be back to 400 or even less. So I don't know the point. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest here. All right. As for this, I did contact the community manager about this. You know, explaining how this doesn't make any sense to be connected to Azan, because this seems to be the Rejuvenate issue. Rejuvenate was actually buffed, but it was not healing. It's not, you know, amping up the healing you would receive from others at the correct numbers. It was still doing the old numbers. So why is this related to Azan? I don't know, but apparently it is correct. I don't know. I think they're just wrong, and they haven't fully understood the mistake there. Then, for example, Drogo's MVP's animations have been fixed. Ray has been sort of reverted back to the previous patch. Some people complained that there was even a card not working, so I'm guessing this is going to put it to work again. If you guys ever saw any video of mine of Ray, you would know that I talked about like this stacking heals. You could have like 2 chargers or whatever, so I'm guessing that's going to return. Yaggorath's golden skin has been finally fixed, because if you didn't know, you could do like this little thing where you could have the golden mouth in a different body, because you just couldn't equip the golden skin, and it would equip the weapon but not the golden skin, and so you could switch skins. That was very interesting. They also fixed the issue of the send message button being away, and they also mentioned there's 2 different things here that are still being under an investigation. One of them is the collision with Drogo's ult against the hammer, which just happened to me recently. And certain sprays apparently are floating. Nothing very important. But yeah, these are the changes, which the ones that really were interesting to me. Androxus, they did the right talent now. Atlas, buff, huge buff. Especially when his ability is literally to rewind and get his HP back, which means he could potentially just get 4,000 HP back immediately, and Cauterize does nothing about it. Azan, whatever. Barrick, big buff. Dredge, meh. Fernando, thank God. Furia, still a bit confused about this one. Grok as well, and Grover's alright, I guess. It's a little bit less aggro, but I know pro players are all going to be like, oh, they killed Grover because Grover was good as an off support. Yeah, whatever. I don't even play him like that, so I honestly, that's personal. You know, I don't care, personally. Inara, huge, like, really good. Kasumi, still not enough, I think, if people really want to be happy. Pip is okay. Rom, thank you. Sky, meh. Torval, very good, but it also weird. 7 needs more, and Ying, just like, why? I don't know. But yeah, there you go. These are the newest changes to the patch notes. I do not know if there's anything else that it will be added here. They, for example, forgot to put the mention to remounting not being in the game anymore, except for payload. I selected the wrong thing. Whatever, you understand my point. For payload, there we go. And we're also going to have some of these LTMs back, which I already put them here. Some of them are the ones that Shaq created, like the walls falling down, the Makoa ring where you have to push people away. It's pretty cool. And we're also going to have this one here for people to test out Nyx, where you're going to have 20% reduced cooldowns of everything and 50% increased damage, and everybody's playing Nyx. So good luck, enjoy, and let me know down in the comments below what you think about these changes to the balance. Do you think there's any other champion that should be changed? Because even though I'm not AOC technically speaking anymore, because it was only for 2022, I'm still there on that Discord, and I'm still providing feedback constantly. So if you have anything that you feel like it's really worthy to just look at and possibly change in this the next future patches, just tell me down in the comments below, and I'll pass it along. All right, thank you so much for watching. That'll be it for today. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.